On a Beam of Light, a story about Albert Einstein. Over 100 years ago, as the stars swirled in the sky, as the earth circled the sun, as the March winds blew through a little town by a river, a baby boy was born. His parents named him Albert. Albert turned 1 year old and didn't say a word. Albert turned 2 and didn't say a word. Albert turned 3 and hardly said a word at all. He just looked around with his big, curious eyes, looked and wondered, looked and wondered. His parents worried a little. Little Albert was so different. Was there something wrong? But he was their baby, so they loved him, no matter what. So different, but so dear. One day, when Albert was sick in bed, his father brought him a compass, a small round case with a magnetic needle inside. No matter which way Albert turned the compass, the needle always pointed north, as if held by an invisible hand. Albert was so amazed his body trembled. Suddenly, he knew there were mysteries in the world, hidden and silent, unknown and unseen. He wanted, more than anything, to understand those mysteries. Albert thought about very, very big things, like the size and shape of the entire universe. He thought about very, very small things, like what goes on inside the atoms that everything is made of. He thought about mysterious forces like magnetism and gravity. He discovered whole new ways to understand how all these things work. Everywhere Albert went, he would think and think. One of Albert's special thinking places was his little sailboat. He loved to let his mind wander as the wind blew him across the water. Sometimes, when Albert was having a tough time with a tricky problem, he would put it aside and play his violin. Music made Albert happy. He said it helped him think better. Albert even chose his clothes for thinking. He liked to wear his comfy, old saggy-baggy sweaters and trousers, and shoes without socks. He said now that he was grown up, no one could tell him to put on his socks. In the town where he lived, he became known for wandering around deep in thought, sometimes eating an ice cream cone, always noticeable with his long, wild hair, which by then had become quite white. Albert asked questions never asked before, found answers never found before, and dreamed up ideas never dreamt before. Albert's ideas helped build spaceships and satellites that traveled to the moon and beyond. His thinking helped us understand our universe as no one ever had before. But still, Albert left us many big questions. Questions that scientists are working on today. Questions that someday you, yes you, may answer by wondering, thinking, and imagining.